Ladies and gentlemen, this particular story started a few years ago. The reason why we're talking about it right now, because we generally try to put a focus on stories that are happening right now. But there is actually a large update between the sentencing of mom's boyfriend and the mother. So we have a couple of updates there, but you also need to hear about this terrible story that happened to this little boy. And I want you guys to remember that nothing is more difficult than what this baby had to live through. Then we can just share together and listen to his story and hear him out. Around 9 p.m. on Friday, January the 11th of 2019, a 911 call summoned first responders to 430 Zinc Lane in Christiansburg, Virginia, which is the county seat of Montgomery County. The caller, who was 25-year-old Mackenzie Hellman. Let me see if I can get this fat turd back up on my screen. I need to isolate him so you'll know exactly who I'm talking about. This big, fat, bare-faced looking MFer right here look like he's somebody's grandfather. Mackenzie Hellman is 25 years old. That is a hard 25 years, boy. That is a hard 25 years in the face. I know I ain't the thinnest person in the world, but I damn sure didn't look like that at 25. That I can guarantee you. I was in shape at 25. That boy is shaped like a freaking, what do you call that? Like an eggplant. 25 years old, Mackenzie Hellman requested medical assistance for his girlfriend's 2-year-old son, that baby boy right there, Stephen Meek II, and said that he was unresponsive after the boy took a fall. How many times? The only thing that would make this story the same as every story we talk about is if they add they found him in a bathtub. They always talk about the kids fell and somehow they died in a bathtub. I don't know how that always works out. But they're blaming it on the little boy, said he fell. But you're not going to believe that after you hear this story. When police and EMTs arrived at the home, located in the neighborhood of Trailer Homes, Country Bumpkins, yes, Trailer Homes, they found Mackenzie sitting on the living room floor next to the lifeless body of a tiny blonde boy, that baby. Mackenzie's girlfriend, and I'm going to give her name here in a moment, and Stephen's mother, Kayla Thomas, were at work. Rescue personnel performed CPR on Stephen for nearly 25 minutes before they finally got a pulse, and at which point he was taken to an ambulance to Lewis Gale Hospital, Montgomery. Later, he was airlifted to, let me see, what is this? Carillon Roanoke Memorial Hospital. That is a tongue twister. And placed on life support. Medical staff noted injuries that did not appear consistent with Mackenzie's incident account, which was that Stephen had fallen off of his bed. Investigators determined that the bed in question was Stephen's toddler bed and at the tallest height from which he could have fell would have been a total of 13 inches. But from here to about here, 13 inches, maybe even a little bit shorter, about here. 13 inches. The floor beneath was carpeted and padded with a play mat. There was no way that the injuries the baby sustained could have been caused by such a fall. Police launched a criminal investigation, and on January 13th, authorities arrested Mackenzie Kyle Hellman and charged him with 1 count of felony child abuse. He was held without bond at Montgomery County Jail and later transferred to West Virginia Regional Jail. Tests show that baby Stephen had only minimal brain activity, but his family hoped and prayed as he remained unresponsive on life support that whole weekend. But ultimately, at 7:40 p.m. on January 13th, Stephen Dale Meek II died from his injuries. The baby boy was only 2 years old. This story is about to get a hell of a lot worse, so I'm going to warn you guys. I'm going to give you some details, so this is your disclaimer. I have to give you guys the details about what caused him to die. So if you can't handle that, I understand if you need to exit my video. But that's what we're getting ready to talk about. Now, the investigation into his death revealed a history of physical and sexual abuse. Do y'all know how people like to use the terminology pedo? And they like to just launch that as an insult to people that they dislike for whatever stupid reason? If you know what a pedo is, and I think Mia Lee Hellinger talked about this on the show one time, so shout out to her because she knew that I got this terminology correct. Pedophile and hebephile are two different things. What you are looking at are mother and boyfriend who are pedophiles. The scum of the effing earth. Right there. Satan spawned Satan's own children. Right here on the damn screen. Yes, you heard me correctly. A history of physical and sexual abuse on a 2-year-old child. You know how they also say, well, it usually only happens to girls and it don't happen to boys? It's a little boy. Another little boy. You guys know how I've done all of these stories about boys being kidnapped, boys being raped by other grown men, boys also being sexed, trafficked. It happens more often than people actually want to understand. This is why we need to protect all children. Can we get that in the chat? Protect all children. Protect all children. Not just because they're a female child, a little girl. No, we need to protect all children. They're all vulnerable and they all are susceptible to the same type of abuse. They all are. And that's why they need us. The abuse occurred allegedly at the hands of not only his mother's boyfriend, but the mother herself. She participated. I'm telling y'all, this is about to get really dark. On Wednesday, January 16th, Christiansburg police arrested Stephen's mother. Her name is 25-year-old Kayla Nicole Thomas on multiple charges, including committing. I need to take a drink. The mother, they got her on multiple charges, including committing forcible sodomy by engaging in fellatio against the victim's will by force, threat, or intimidation. Lord have mercy. Inanimate object penetration of a person less than 13 years of age. Production of child pornography involving a child less than 15 years of age. Possession and distribution of child pornography. Let me say that again. possession and distribution of child pornography. Distribution is the key word. Who the fuck was she giving the porn to? They should know the answer to that by now. Even forensics ought to be able to look at their internet history, look at their emails, look at their text messages, look at their call records, subpoena for call records, do forensics on their phone, and find out who the recipient was on the other side. Do y'all hear me? I'm doing the best I can to not curse as much, to not get as angry as much, and not yell as much. When I read that, possession and distribution, that means you have to have somebody who is accepting it for payment. You could easily tie those things together. But we know it's big business. Being a parent or guardian, committing a willful act so gross and wanton as to show a reckless disregard for human life, child neglect. Everything that I just read were just the mother's charges. And no, I'm not going to repeat her charges again. Please rewind it if you need to. Absolutely freaking disgusting. You get this little pussy ass, thug punk, pedophile, and mix it with this mom. The mom's mentality was already screwed up. And if you ask me, because the mom took her child to the thug zoo and went and go play with the thug grizzly bear, this fool right here, if you ask me, I think the mom deserves worse punishment than mom's boyfriend, the thug grizzly bear. Don't y'all think? You placed the child in that situation, saw it happening, participated in it, and got paid for it? Y'all do know that's what porn is. You get paid for it. For profit. Hashtag babies for benefits. I don't even understand why she's still breathing oxygen. I really don't. Let's keep going. Kayla, who was pregnant at the time, Lord have mercy, wow. Pregnant at the time, was also locked up at Western Virginia Regional Jail and held with no bond. She had the absolute gall to face a judge the following day and ask in tears if she could be released from jail to attend her son's funeral. What the absolute shit? She had the absolute gall to face a judge the following day and ask while she was crying, because of course she's crying for herself because she didn't care about her kids at all. She's not a human being. She's not a mother. And she asked if she could attend her child's funeral who she caused to be murdered. On what planet do we do this? But stupid is as stupid thugs. Lord, wow. The judge told the crying woman in an orange jumpsuit, jail jumpsuit, that he could not make that decision until she had a bond hearing. Also on Thursday, January 17th, Mackenzie Hellman's charges were steeply upgraded. I'm only going to say this one time, so we're going to talk about the thug grizzly bear. Here's his charges. Murder while committing another felony, i.e. child abuse. Felony child abuse. 2 counts of aggravated sexual battery of a child less than 13 years old, which is the actual definition of pedophile. So make sure y'all get that right. Because most people don't know the difference between a hebophile and a pedophile. It's a difference. Solicitation of a minor less than 15 years old for sexual purposes. Accessory to inanimate object sexual penetration with a child less than 13 years of age. Accessory to forcible sodomy by engaging in fellatio with a child less than 13 years of age. I'm not going to read that again. Possession of child pornography, accessory before the fact to production of child pornography, and accessory before the fact to distribution of child pornography. According to police, Stephen was murdered and his death was caused by brutal blunt force trauma to the head. What did that little boy do to deserve any of this? When you look at this baby boy, what did he do to deserve any of that? What did he do to deserve that? Hebophile has to do with age. So if y'all don't know, if you Google it, it'll actually tell you pretty quickly. It's just the difference in age. It's the difference in age. Just so y'all know. Brutal blunt force trauma to the head. On a press conference, the Christiansburg Police Chief Mark Sisson said the first responder to the call arrived to find an adult male, Mackenzie Kyle Hellman, age 25, seated on the floor next to the unresponsive child. Our detectives continued with their investigation in the cause of Stephen's death and ultimately uncovered evidence that Stephen was not the only victim of physical abuse that resulted in his injuries on the 11th, but also that he had been the victim of sexual abuse at the hands of both Mackenzie Hellman and Stephen's mother, Kayla Thomas. Chief Sisson said that another child in the home was also believed to be a victim of sexual abuse. More kids. That child's case was handed over to Child Protective Services. Kayla did not have any other children. Mackenzie had a son about the same age as Stephen, who also lived part-time in the home. Chief Sisson continued, what happened to this innocent child can only be described as horrific, and we can only imagine the pain by the loved ones of Stephen Meek, and our hearts and prayers go out to the families involved. Police expected the felony murder charge to be upgraded eventually, as felony murder is a charge that applies when a person dies accidentally during the commission of another felony, and they did not believe Stephen's death was an accident, because it wasn't. Sisson said that his agency seized multiple items in connection with the allegations of pornography and sexual abuse against the couple. An autopsy was conducted, but the report was not available until May, so prosecutors asked the judge to continue his preliminary hearing. The mother, right here, I don't even know what to call her. I don't even know what she looks like. She just looks stupid. Kayla waived her rights to a preliminary hearing, and her 5 felony charges were sent to a grand jury. At the hearing, Mackenzie's attorney, Fred Kellerman, requested an evaluation be conducted of his client's sanity at the time of the offense and his competency to stand trial, stating that Mackenzie had been involuntarily committed several times to mental health facilities. Here's my problem while we talk about mental health. because they only bring up mental health when a child dies and they're trying to get somebody to accept lesser charges. Do y'all see what my problem is and why I say that mental health cannot be used as an excuse for murder? And especially murder against children. No, it's not capital murder. I don't think it's quite capital murder. It's just a technicality. It's not quite technically capital murder. Mental health. But if you knew that he had mental health issues, then why did you allow him to be around these kids? Why did the mother accept him to be around these kids? Why were there no background checks done to the biological fathers of these kids? Why do we not do a background check on these women before we have unprotected sex with them and create children with them? This is a twofold thing. The blame is on both sides. We procreate with stupid ass people and they do stupid ass things to kids. That's pure evil. Thank you for saying that. That is. The evaluation was completed and he was found that he was competent to stand trial. Thank goodness for that. On the afternoon of December 20th of 2019, a pretrial hearing took place for Mackenzie at which cameras were not allowed in the courtroom. Why not? Why not? Anyway, the state filed a motion to drop some of the charges against him: 2 counts of aggravated sexual battery, solicitation of a minor, and forcible sodomy as an accessory, which left him a total of 6 charges, which is felony murder, felony child abuse / neglect, accessory before the fact to production of child pornography, accessory before the fact to distribute child pornography, accessory to inanimate object sexual penetration with a child less than 13 years old, and possession of child porn. Multiple witnesses testified at the pretrial hearing, providing as yet unheard details that were both shocking and sickening. I don't know that I want to go through quite all of this. Oh, wow. Wow. No, no, no. Look, guys, they gave very descriptive details about what they did to this. Now, I can't read all of this. Oh, my goodness. Y'all are going to have to Google this story. I can't read this. Woo-wee. Let me tell y'all what this baby boy suffered. Chief Medical Examiner Amy Tharp, who detailed the injuries she found Stephen had suffered, 22 blunt force injuries to the head, 13 more injuries beneath the scalp, 4 injuries inside the mouth, 3 bruises inside the gum line of the mouth, 10 injuries to the torso, injuries to the right and left arm, right arm and left leg, bruising on the anus and inside the rectum, hemorrhaging inside the spinal cord. Oh, Lord Jesus. Bilateral retinal hemorrhages and subdural hemorrhaging. Dr. Tharp was asked if those injuries could have happened from the result of a fall off a toddler bed, to which she responded, if that kind of height could kill a child, none of us would have survived childhood. Wow. This is a very detailed report. I'm gonna skip a lot of this. Let me give you guys the fair usage. It's really, really long, and we're not gonna spend too much time reading the whole thing. But y'all get the gist of this. Let's get it. Federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyrighted motion pictures, videotapes, or video discs under certain circumstances without the authorization of the copyright holder. This is called fair use. It is allowed for purposes of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody, which doesn't infringe of copyright under 17 U.S.C. 107.
This little boy's death sparked an investigation into a whirlwind of shocking sexual assault allegations.
And today, the Christiansburg man charged with 2-year-old Stephen Meek's murder was in court facing charges for sexual abuse, child pornography, and more. Mackenzie Hellman and his girlfriend Kayla Thomas are accused of sexually abusing her son in January of 2019. 10 News reporter Jessica Jewell is live tonight. She's outside the courthouse. And Jessica, he was found guilty for the sexual abuse charges.
That's right, John and Brittany. It took the jury just about a half hour to find him guilty of all 5 of those charges, recommending he serve 2 life sentences in prison. This comes after a day of disturbing testimony focused entirely on those charges related to child pornography and sex crimes. Mackenzie Hellman finally had his day in court Monday, pleading not guilty to 5 felonies, ultimately found guilty for each. In court, 3 investigators explained child pornography was found on Hellman's phone and Thomas's phone. The evidence was disturbing, stemming from a secret message where Hellman asked Thomas to send him explicit videos involving her toddler. Those videos were discovered on her phone and a screenshot on Hellman's phone. The only time we really heard from Hellman was in a police interview about a week after those incidents. He admitted to wanting to explore the extent of his sexual desires, but claimed when he received it from Thomas, he found it disgusting. He repeatedly said he did not participate in making any child porn. He didn't like it, that he had a problem and didn't want Thomas to go down for something he asked her to do. The defense did not call any witnesses.
I want y'all to also remember that they also have video evidence. That's the wild thing about people lying when we have video evidence. Absolutely disgusting, man.
And Hellman chose not to testify. Hellman will officially be sentenced on June 29th. We're still waiting to hear when his murder trial will take place.
A Christiansburg man charged in connection to the murder of a toddler is found guilty of child pornography and sex crimes against the young boy. After just 1 day of disturbing testimony, it took the jury just over a half hour to deliberate. Mackenzie Hellman and his girlfriend, Kayla Thomas, are accused of murdering and sexually abusing her 2-year-old son, Stephen Meek, in January of 2019.
10 News was in court today where we have heard from 3 investigators who discovered child pornography on Hellman and Thomas's phones. The only time we heard from Hellman today was from a police interview where he admitted to wanting to explore the extent of his sexual desires, but claimed when he received it from Thomas, he found it disgusting. The defense did not call any witnesses. Hellman chose not to testify. He's also charged with second-degree murder and child abuse and neglect. A date for that trial has not been set. We'll have a full breakdown of what happened in court on 10 News at 6 and WSLS.com.
10 News begins right now with breaking news.
A Christiansburg man receives 2 life sentences plus an additional 90 years in connection to the death and sexual abuse of his girlfriend's 2-year-old son. 10 News anchor McKinley Strother was the only television journalist in the courtroom today. He's got the latest from the Montgomery County Court.
The judicial life of Stephen Meeks may have come to a close this morning in the Montgomery County courtroom, but who he was lives on in the hearts of all those that knew him best. They gave him voice today. The man who stole his voice, Mackenzie Hellman, faced a judge today. He was sentenced to 2 life sentences plus 90 years behind bars. Stephen Meeks was the victim over 2 years ago of some very heinous crimes. His mother behind bars for her role in the sex and child abuse. Her boyfriend today, Mackenzie Hellman, learned he'll be behind bars for the rest of his life for his role in that abuse, as well as murder. He was sentenced to 40 years for second-degree murder, 5 years for neglect and abuse, a number of other years for the production, distribution, and possession of child pornography. He was also sentenced to life terms for those sex crimes as well. Mackenzie Hellman was very quick and short in his responses to the judge today. The judge very fast to accept those jury recommendations. Again, he'll serve 2 life sentences plus 90 years behind bars.
A mother accused of sexually assaulting her own son was back in court today facing charges in connection to the 2-year-old's death. 10 News reporter Lindsay Kennett explains what's next for Kayla Thomas.
Today's court proceedings were supposed to be a plea hearing for Kayla Thomas. However, prosecutors pushed for a jury trial that is now set for early next year. Kayla Thomas appeared in a Montgomery County Circuit courtroom Thursday afternoon. She's facing 5 felony charges, accused of sexually abusing her 2-year-old son and using him to make child pornography before his death. Investigators say the little boy died back in January of 2019 from blunt force trauma to the head, allegedly at the hands of Thomas's boyfriend, Mackenzie Hellman. In court Thursday, the judge agreed to a jury trial for Thomas, set for January 20th through the 22nd of 2021. The defense also requested an evaluation of Thomas's sanity at the time of the offense. Thomas's boyfriend Hellman is heading to trial on October 5th. Reporting in Christiansburg, I'm Lindsay Kennett, 10 News, working for you.
Here's something that you guys also need to know that I had to look up because this is exactly what I was looking for. A Montgomery County jury found Kayla Nicole Thomas, guilty Wednesday of 4 counts of sexually abusing her late son. The jury recommended a sentence of 2 life terms plus 10 years. So that actually sounds like she's getting almost exactly what the boyfriend got, which is what we wanted. A sentencing hearing is scheduled for September 23rd, which is not far from now. That's about 8 days from now. September 23rd is going to be next, not this coming Thursday, but next Thursday. So just to give you guys an update on that. Where were the biological parents here? I don't know. Where were the family members? And also, I think it makes it even more disgusting. Yes, thank you. Hashtag babies for benefits. That's all they use these children for, but they did so much worse than this. And I'm going to tell you, man, hell is not full of pedophiles. It's not. They have a special place in hell for people like this that did that to that little boy. And not only that, but they did it to another kid as well. This little boy just couldn't survive for all of the stuff that he went through. And the fact that he was handed literally on a silver platter by the biological mother to the boyfriend, it's absolutely inexcusable. If we could bring back stoning, if we could bring back hanging, if we could bring back the firing squad, I would absolutely recommend these 2 bastards for that type of execution. They deserve it in the worst way for what they did to that precious baby boy who couldn't speak for himself, and he had no way to be able to defend himself against the tyranny of his own mother. I don't know what else to say. There just is no justice for something like this. To this baby boy, Stephen Meeks, young prince, R.I.P. We're going to end it right there, and that's the end of this story. And I don't really know that it's going to matter how they rule on September 23rd against the mother. If they go ahead and give her 2 life sentences and plus 10 years, then fine. But we're quick to, matter of fact, I want to bring this up. We're quick to want to try to put certain people on death row. Why don't we put child abusers and child murderers and child rapists and pedophiles? Why don't they get the death penalty? I'm just curious about that. The people who deserve it should be in that position. Thank y'all for listening. Guys, we actually got 2, maybe even 3 more stories if y'all want to hear them. What's going on to my brother Relationship Rehab, who is in the chat. He has a YouTube channel. I expect for you guys to go check his channel out. Does great and amazing shows. Y'all make sure to check out my brother, The Relationship Rehab, in the building. Much love, my brother. We have a couple more stories that I want to tell you guys, depending on what you can handle. Let's talk about the pregnant mom. Did y'all hear about that story? The pregnant mom that got shot at her own freaking baby shower. How many of y'all heard about this stupid niggerish crap? This is just about as dumb as it gets. A mother was murdered at her. How? Like, isn't that supposed to be a happy time? I know we got a lot of ladies in the chat. Can y'all shout yourselves out, please? Please. No, we got a lot of awesome, beautiful mothers and ladies in the chat. Show yourselves some love. How in the world do you get shot at a goddamn baby shower? Who does this? You know how they always say, oh, white people do it too. I want y'all to show me the story where there has been a white mother who was shot at her own baby shower. Please. Somebody email me the news article. I don't care if it happened in 1920. Send it to me if it ever happened. Please. Absolutely ridiculous. Can I thank a couple people real quick? And I also need to ask you guys, if y'all would, please help share our live stream. Our goal is 600 thumbs up. I don't know where we're at. Can somebody please let me know? 19 weeks pregnant? Well, congratulations, Samantha. Congratulations. Can somebody please let me know where we are with the thumbs up, please? I need to say thank you to my friend Ginger Reed, if you are in the chat. The amazing power of niggas. Bro, like, I can't freaking believe. When I looked at it, I said, damn, really? We just keep trying to top the most stupid crap ever. It's like there are levels to stupid crap, and it seems like niggas just be sitting around thinking like, what can I do to top that? What's the stupidest thing that ever happened? Let's see. We just talked about a story 2 days ago where a house full of children and a grandmother was shot at 150 fucking times. How can we top that? Oh yeah, niggas was thinking, how about we go shoot up a damn baby shower? That seems like a little bit worse. Ladies and gentlemen, this particular story, it makes me think of something. And I'm kind of like, you know how I was just talking about how the most ridiculous things happen inside of our community, which we call the black community, in which we're associated by way of a skin color. And the most ridiculous things we're always doing to ourselves, just like that grandmother's house that got shot up that had like 7 children inside the house and they shot it up 150 times. If y'all have not heard about that story, please go look at that video and go listen to what I had to say about that. And I keep thinking to myself, it seems like we are always trying to one up and trying to top the most ridiculous things that we continue to do to ourselves. I say that and I'm thinking there's no way you can top somebody shooting up a house that is full of children and grandmother 150 times. Oh, how about we go shoot up a baby shower? Huh? We go shoot up a baby shower. Yes, that's it. That's how we're going to top the most ridiculousness. Stupid is as stupid thugs. Hashtag when you date thugs, you date death. Huh? Live by the thug, die by the thug. And I know that the family and friends are going to be heartbroken about what I got to say about this, but I want you guys to take a look at my screen because the New York police have pictured a man who was wanted over the fatal shooting of a heavily pregnant 31-year-old woman who was killed in front of her 2 children after her baby shower. Ladies and gentlemen, I could cut it right there and cut straight to the news videos. I do have more details. That in itself is another, like, you can't be that level of dumb. Shot this woman in front of her 2 children. Who did this? Why would they do this? What would precipitate, I haven't used that word in a long time. What would precipitate somebody to this level of anger? Let's talk about it. Justin Soriano, who's 40 years old. This individual, he's a good looking 40. I can't even lie about that. I'm not going to disparage him on that note. He's 40 years old, and he is believed to have fired the shot that killed Shanice Young at her apartment building in Harlem at 1:16 in the morning, 1:16 a.m. on Sunday, according to the New York Police Department. Young was shot in the head as she tried to separate a fight between her ex, believed to be Soriano, this guy, and her new boyfriend. Here's where everybody's going to get mad at me and talk about, Just Jay, you don't have the facts. You weren't there. You don't know what was going on. Yous need to stop being a coon and disparaging your people. Huh? Let me explain this again. Her ex-boyfriend shot her new boyfriend. Do y'all mind if I bring up a Tommy statistic? Because y'all can look this up and find out that my brother is actually correct about everything that he says. Well, about statistics. I want y'all to check this out. Do you know how in some states, I can't remember which state it is, and I'm sorry that I can't remember the state, but I know there was a state where 1 out of 2 men that were tested in the black community were found out on the first try not to be the baby's father. Whenever they go get a DNA test, the first man that they test is not the father 50% of the time. Why am I bringing up a statistic like that? Here's why. I want y'all to remember that something precipitated this. Something inspired this level of stupid behavior. I want to use the R word, but I can't. I don't want to get flagged off of YouTube. So I got to mind my mouth. I thought about this and I said, she's pregnant, 8 to 9 months pregnant, baby shower, new boyfriend, ex-boyfriend. Why would the ex-boyfriend be there? Could that baby be the ex-boyfriend's baby? You're talking about a small time frame in which she left one man, ended up with another man, and she also has 2 other children. That's at least 3 men that are involved. Because I'm going to assume that the new boyfriend is not the baby of the other children that were around. And I'm going to assume that her ex-boyfriend isn't the father of those other 2 kids. Assuming. Because that's what we do. We tend to go from person after person after person, looking for love in all the wrong places. Ain't that about right? We don't want to be lonely. We are focusing on our own personal pleasures as opposed to finding a suitable mate for our children, for our future, for our legacy, right? Most women in general, and I'm not saying that this is her mentality, because I don't know this woman with all of that makeup on her face. Why does her face look like the man? Woo, they gonna get mad at me. That woman looked like she was casket ready with all that makeup. Oh my goodness. I cannot believe I just said that. Sorry. That is a lot of makeup. I'm sorry. Somebody is going to kick my ass for that comment. Sorry. But anyway, we continue to procreate and make children outside of wedlock. If you got that much shit going on between a previous baby daddy, a crazy current boyfriend, a new boyfriend that you ain't even married to, why are we bringing children into this dysfunctionality? I don't even know if that's a word, but maybe we need to make it a word. Dysfunctionality. The ality of dysfunction. These children are looking at potentially two men fighting because of the mom, and they're looking like, these men ain't my dad, but these men are fighting over my mom, and oh shit, they pulling out a gun and they shooting. Now they shoot your mom, cause your sibling to die, if I'm not mistaken. Now mom's old boyfriend, who was hanging around trying to be like our daddy, even though he ain't our daddy, and mom's new boyfriend, like, that's just a pot of bullshit to put children through. Oh my goodness. Let me tell y'all about the rest of this story real quick. Justin Soriano, 40 years old, is believed to be the one who fired the shot that killed her. Young was shot in the head as she tried to separate a fight between her ex and her new boyfriend, who was the father of the unborn baby. How do they know that? Come on, media, don't play with me tonight. How do they know that he is the biological father? The baby's not born yet. So I brought up that statistic earlier. Remember how a lot of times the first man that they test is not the biological father because during their gestation period, they might have been involved with somebody else, and you cannot put that past somebody who has dealt with men in a small amount of time, especially when you're talking about times of having unprotected sex with multiple people. She was not having protected sex with her ex-boyfriend to be acting crazy and shooting people like that. Come on, don't play with me. Don't do it. Young was bringing gifts from her baby shower into her building lobby at 300 West 128th Street in Harlem, New York, when the fight broke out. The gunman came in chasing the boyfriend, Jose Morales. I cannot believe they gave his full name. Jose Morales. So she with a man by the name of Jose Morales. I guess it is New York. The super of Young's building. Oh, excuse me. The super of Young's building told the news they ran through here and out the other side and ran down the stairs. The deceased mother's family told the news that her ex-boyfriend had been stalking her. So whoever sat that in the chat was correct. He had been stalking her and was lying in wait in front of her apartment. As of Tuesday evening, no arrests have been made because they don't know what this dude is. He like David Copperfield. I helped her put gifts in the car and I said, I'll see you tomorrow. Her father, Thurman Young, who's 57 years old, told the news. She was going to have her baby in 5 days. Wow. This baby is coming in 5 days. Daddy, get ready. I said, I'll be ready. Young was unconscious and unresponsive when police arrived at the scene, and she was pronounced dead at the hospital. The woman's family told the news that her daughters, ages 15 and 6, that's why I said the ex-boyfriend is not the dad of either one of those kids. 15 years old and 6 years old. That's what, an 8-9 year difference? About an 8 or 9 year difference. So she could actually probably have 1, 2, 3 different baby dads. Damn. Shanice's sister, Matanya, which we're going to listen to a video of hers, posted on Facebook. My heart, I can't. My sister is really going. If I knew, if last night I knew that was going to be the last time I get to see you, I would have stayed with you and you would have been alive. I can't believe I let him do this to you. That's not your fault. And I feel her on that. And shout out to the sister who wanted to defend her sister. But that's not your life to live, and that is not your responsibility to protect her. But I do feel that message, though. I really do. Her brother, Teddy, posted pictures from the shower on his Facebook page, which you guys can see some of those. Tonight was beautiful. Baby S can come home, and I don't even know if that baby is going to survive. I hope it will. I don't know if the baby survived or passed away because of this. Let me see if I can find it. I don't see it in this article. I don't even know if they're going to say it in the news, but let me give you guys the fair usage. Let's get it. Federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyrighted motion pictures, videotapes, or video discs under certain circumstances without the authorization of the copyright holder. This is called fair use. It is allowed for purposes of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody, which doesn't infringe of copyright under 17 U.S.C. 107. And don't forget, guys, we're just trying to spread awareness to make sure that we can prevent this thing from going forward. So if y'all would, do me a favor and make sure you guys click that thumbs up and share this story, because I don't want more people to keep going through these silly things that we continue to do to ourselves. Let's get it.
Shanice was a victim. Shanice did not.
Somebody in the chat just said the baby didn't survive. That is 5 days. 5 days. I'm sorry to hear that. Thank you for letting me know. Sorry to hear that, man.
Shanice was a victim. Shanice did not have 4 children. Shanice had 2 daughters, and the 3rd one died with her. That's all I have to say. She was a victim.
Family members of 31-year-old Shanice Young are grieving, and they say they are trying to set the record straight. They say the mother, who was 9 months pregnant, was being stalked by an ex-boyfriend who they say was waiting for her as she unloaded baby gifts into the lobby of her building on West 128th Street and
Y'all remember my hashtag? Hashtag not babies for benefits, but hashtag when you date thugs, you date death. This is what I'm talking about. It seems like a cute thing to get with a dude. You find out he's crazy. You've already gotten so sexually involved. You got soul ties going on if y'all believe in the spiritual realm. You have all of these emotions, all of these thoughts. You get tied up into this person. And we have to be more careful about who we give our bodies to. That man is clearly crazy. When you date thugs, this is what I'm talking about. You run a high risk of probability that shit is going to go wrong.
Frederick Douglass Boulevard after her baby shower. Police sources tell Pix 11 there was a fight on the sidewalk between her current boyfriend and her ex. Young was shot in the face and died at Harlem Hospital.
This right here was a senseless shooting. I'm very upset and I'm angry. I shouldn't be angry as a clergy, but this one here has touched my heart.
The shooting happened just after 1:15 a.m. Sunday morning, and hospital chaplain Robert Rice spent hours consoling family and friends.
I'm outraged that we don't have community out here. Where's the outrage? We all scream Black Lives Matter, but when it's going to matter to us as a people in the community?
I need to take a pause because somebody in the chat said something that is extremely important. And let me say thank you, Mario, for your super chat. And said, NYPD police chief said 96% of domestic murderers in New York had a criminal record before their relationship. Some women are attracted to hypermasculinity. A lot of them are. A lot of them are. Thank you for sharing that. That's very important. Do your background checks. Thank you for sharing that statistic.
It wasn't no fight. He murdered her because she was trying to get away from the abuse.
Activists against domestic violence are holding a 4 p.m. vigil tomorrow at the spot where Shanice Young was killed to draw attention to the plight of victims of domestic violence.
Do you know the best way to avoid domestic violence? To not get involved in the first place. This is where the real education is going to start. Because now we start to hold people accountable. The same way that I hold myself accountable, the same way I hold my daughter accountable, which is why we have these conversations, and you do as best as you can to teach and try to reach your child on a mental, spiritual, emotional level and get them to understand to be very cautious about your dating choices. You cannot live their life for them, but you can try to make sure that they're educated about their choices, because once you get involved in a situation like this, it could be a detrimental choice. That's what we're trying to teach.
A pregnant woman is killed after her own baby shower. The search for the person who shot her. And tonight, that mother-to-be shot and killed near her own home. And there's a growing memorial outside of the apartment building in Harlem where this happened. News 4's Ida Siegel live on the corner of Frederick Douglass Boulevard and 128th Street with new information about what happened here and who police believe may be responsible. Ida?
Gilma, I can tell you that there is a family here on 128th Street that's going through an enormous amount of pain. They've asked us to give them their space, which we have. It's why we're across the street from the building where their family member, a pregnant mother, was murdered. We'll show you some video we shot not long ago, and you can see that a memorial has grown outside the building with flowers and candles. Here's what law enforcement sources are telling us at this hour. The victim's name is Shanice Young, 31 years old, pregnant, coming home from her own baby shower in the early morning hours. She was with the father of her child, and they were allegedly unloading gifts from the car when the victim's ex-boyfriend appeared. Police tell us that the current boyfriend and the father of the baby chased the ex-boyfriend, but then lost him. And then that's when the ex-boyfriend shot Shanice 3 times in the head. She was killed right then and there. We're told her baby was also killed, did not survive.
Oh, wow. That is so sad. Damn. 3 times in the face. And the baby didn't survive. 5 days before she was going to give birth. That sucks, man.
Folks in the neighborhood that we've spoken with say they're devastated by this news. They've contributed to the memorial. They say that Shanice was always kind and always in good spirits.
Well, he's a good person, you know, feel upset about what happened because, you know, sometimes you see somebody today and they're gone tomorrow. But a good person, so this was tragic for us to hear about it.
Very good. It was very tragic at the end of the day. Like I sat there and said, she was a beautiful woman that loves it, kept it peaceful. But like I sat there and said, this gun violence needs to stop. Because that's an innocent.
That's not gun violence. Why do they keep saying this? People who say gun violence need to be slapped in the face immediately. Shut up. It's not gun violence. Y'all notice how my gun has been sitting here this whole time and it has not walked off my table right here. It hasn't unlocked the door, hadn't gone outside and shot anybody. The gun hasn't done a damn thing. This is bad people choices. The guns are nothing but tools. It's just like somebody grabbing a knife. People in New York should understand that better than anybody. Well, all of the slicing of razor blades and all of that stuff that happens in New York because they made it so hard for people to have guns at all in New York. They ought to understand that better than anybody. If people want to kill, murder, and maim, they're going to do it regardless. It's the people and the mentality is the problem.
Life taken and the newborn infant gone too.
Say 31-year-old.
The search is on for the gunman who shot and killed a pregnant mother as she headed home from her own baby shower this morning in Harlem. Eyewitness News reporter Naveen Dhaliwal spoke to the victim's grieving family.
A celebration turned into heartbreak for a Harlem family. The pain was visible.
She was 9 months pregnant.
Shanice Young, a mother just weeks away from giving birth, was shot in the head in front of her building on West 128th Street.
Shanice was a victim. Shanice did not have 4 children. Shanice had 2 daughters, and the third one died with her.
Just after 1 a.m., Shanice was returning from her baby shower. She was taking the gifts into her building lobby when police say a fight broke out between 2 men. Neighbors say one of the men was Shanice's ex, the other the father of her unborn child. One of them had a gun that fired off.
I was woken up because of the shots.
A bullet hit Shanice in the head.
As you could imagine, it was very tense and emotional last night. I don't think anybody was able to walk around here without crying.
There's a memorial now for the 31-year-old and her unborn daughter.
Stop the violence!
Local domestic violence activist and survivor Stephanie Warm outraged at the unnecessary loss of 2 lives.
I'm upset because she didn't have to die. She didn't have to die. I'm upset because it could have been me.
What? How could it have been you? Are you dating thugs, unstable thugs with guns? How could it have been you? Why would you say that? Matter of fact, I want y'all to notice, I was actually going to say this on the last stream. Have y'all noticed how they barely interview men anymore? That's a little bit strange for you to sit there and say it could have been me. Why are you making this about you? Why don't y'all make it about the kids? How about that? This is how we can eliminate being selfish. Put the kids first. Like the AFC. Advocates for children first. Shout yourselves out, AFC. We put children first. I don't like when people are selfish like that. Could have been me. No, it wouldn't, woman. Let's not. Boy, let me not go there. Let me not attack this woman because I'm going to. So let me not do that.
Have to die. I'm upset because it could have been me.
And so many wondering the same thing.
It's scary. It's scary, and it's a little close to home. And who shoots a pregnant woman in front of her kids?
And this message for the shooter.
Ah, there go a man, a pastor, of course. Let's bring the church into this.
This man needs to be off the street, and I pray that God convict him, that he would turn himself in.
Really, bro? Really? I cannot believe I'm about to do this. I pray that God convicts his heart to turn yourself in, young man. Do the right thing. Jesus is watching. Turn yourself in. God said in Ephesians 13:15 to turn yourself in when you murder pregnant women, son. Turn yourself in. So you mean to tell me that Jesus in the Bible wasn't telling him not to have premarital sex, not to be a nigga that ain't shit, not to be a nigga that ain't got nothing to do except stalk females, not to go grab a gun, not to go get into a fight with the ex-boyfriend and then chase the mom down and shoot her in the head twice? Let's think about how many sins are involved there. We're going to have to do this like movie and cinema sins, right? We can't just pray this all away. You have to start putting the accountability on people. Stupid is as stupid thugs. They just need to be caught and locked up. Very simple. I seriously doubt if that man has any God in his heart. Past the crazy eyes. Somebody said past the crazy eyes. I'm sorry, man. I would think that a pastor would have more sense than this, but maybe they don't in general. Let's go.
Because the streets is mad at what I'm hearing.
Tonight, police are still trying to...
The streets is mad. Why? I bet the dude that did it is a friend of the street. Man, look, let's keep going.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. I'm Jessica Moore. We begin tonight with a pregnant Harlem woman gunned down outside her apartment building. This happened after she had just gotten back from her own baby shower. CBS 2's Thalia Perez has the story.
Jessica, such a tragic turn of events. Neighbors tell us that the victim was loading her baby shower gifts into the lobby of her building when gunfire erupted. Police have confirmed with us.
I'm still tripping on that. He said the streets is mad. You mean a nigga from the streets? The streets is mad at a nigga from the streets who do what niggas from the streets do? Really? Okay. Who knew? The streets now have a moral code. Even though most of all the stories I've been doing haven't been involving all of these shootings where thugs are shooting at each other in parks and shooting each other through the streets, missing their targets and killing kids. Ain't that what the streets are doing? Or am I wrong? So the streets now have a moral code. Got it.
That an ex-boyfriend is the shooting suspect in this case, and he remains at large. Emotions running high as family members of Shanice Young gathered around a memorial in front of the building where the 31-year-old was gunned down. Police sources say there was a dispute.
I'm glad they had candles rather than balloons. Good job, New York. Good job. They had candles. That's good.
And Young was trying to break up a fight before shots were fired. But a woman who identified herself as the victim's sister says that's not the case.
She was 9 months pregnant. Shanice was a victim.
Police say it happened just after 1 Sunday morning outside of her building on West 128th Street. Neighbors say the victim had just returned from her own baby shower with her current boyfriend.
Shanice had 2 daughters, and the third one died with her.
Stephanie McGraw, the director of We All Really Matter, an anti-domestic violence nonprofit, came to the scene to offer the family support.
We've got to understand how serious domestic violence is and how dangerous it is.
It still remains unclear if Young was the intended target, and so far, no arrests have been made. Reporting outside the 32nd Precinct in Harlem, Thalia Perez, CBS 2 News.
If that pastor really believes that the streets all of a sudden give a crap about what's going on, I think that the majority of them might have missed that memo. Will all of the dead children, including this unborn baby, and including these traumatized children who watched their mother be shot down in the street like a damn stray dog. I don't understand how he feels like all of a sudden the streets is... that really upset me to hear that. But I'm telling y'all, this dude ain't hard to find. He's probably got some chick that he's probably laying up with, hiding with, and and whoever is hiding this man, whether it be probably his mama or some girlfriend, whoever they find him with, I think that they need to be charged as an accessory. Not accessory, but a harboring a fugitive of justice. That should easily get you 3 years in jail. Make people really think about this thing. Make people really regret hiding somebody out who you know is accused of a heinous crime, and they have eyewitnesses that can prove this. You know what they're accusing him of, then you should turn him in. But definitely don't expect for God to convict his soul to turn himself in. Come on, Pastor. Come on, Pastor. I think you can preach a little bit of a better message than that. But then again, I'm not so sure that a lot of pastors' hearts are in the right place to begin with. But that's a whole nother story. I want to again tell you guys a very simple thing. And I want to say thank you again to that individual who sent that super chat earlier. that put out a very important statistic. The majority of these type of men already have a propensity for violence that you can find by way of their criminal background. They already have a record before they get involved with these women. But how many of them do a background check like I've been begging them to do for 3 years now? We can go buy money for weave. We can go buy money for MAC makeup. We can go buy eyelashes. We can go get our fingernails done, our toes did, be on fleek all the goddamn time. But we can't buy a background check. We can't buy life insurance. I'm sure the mom didn't have life insurance. I'm sure we're going to see a GoFundMe pop up here. Oh, probably by the end of the week. I'm pretty sure that her other children don't have life insurance. Why is that important? Because everyone that is born is going to die. No one knows the day. No one knows the hour. It is going to inevitably happen to all of us. Why would we not be prepared for that? Why would we put the inevitable off on society to say, y'all should feel bad, y'all should donate? Why? It's going to happen to everybody. So what if everybody just put up a GoFundMe when their sad passing happens? Then what are we going to do? We're going to have way more GoFundMes that don't get funded because people don't have a plan for the inevitable. Do you know what inevitable means? It means it's going to happen to everybody. And if it's going to happen to everybody, why would we not plan for it? It's just like having children. We bring children into this world with no plan for them. I recommend Gerber Life. There's probably 100 things that you guys can go Google search and look up. I don't care what you choose. Have a plan. Even if you choose your family, make sure that the family comes together. Family, friends, cousins, y'all take care of your family circles. Everybody should do that. When it comes to your dating choices, a simple background check will let you know that this fool has a criminal record and he has a propensity for violence, which means that if you knew it beforehand, before you give your precious body and your womb up. Let me say that again, ladies. Before you give up your precious body and your precious womb, you should know who's entering your body and who you're mixing those bodily fluids with and those soul ties. You should know who you're being tied to. Sex should be taken a hell of a lot more seriously than just thinking somebody's going to mix with you and they're just going to go the fuck away. Bye, I don't want you no more. You think that's the way it works? I've had stalkers. No, I ain't the most attractive man in the world, but yes, I've had stalkers. Who can I blame? Myself. Why? Because reckless sex is not a good thing. It is harmful to people like me to have reckless sex, just like it's harmful for women to have reckless sex for a number of different reasons. Because you don't really know who you're merging with. A simple thing to do a background check, find out he's crazy. Don't even think about your own personal pleasures like I like to talk about. Think about the 2 kids that you already had. You already got 2 kids. You already got too much going on. To have 2 kids and be unmarried in your 30s, you got too much going on. Just like me, I'm the same way. Why do you think I haven't made no more kids? Because I had too much going on. We must learn from our mistakes. We must learn from our situations and do better going forward. That's all I'm asking. To that young soul, I don't want him on my screen. Let me get this fool off my screen. To the mother, R.I.P. to the baby, and we don't know if that baby had a name. I'm sure the baby already had a name. To the baby that didn't survive, R.I.P. Per hands up for the children that did survive. And they probably need counseling because this is probably going to be very tough for them. For both of those children, because they are very, very aware at this point between being age 15 and 8. They are very aware of what's going on. But again, thank you guys so much for listening to the story with an open mind and an open heart. Thank you so much. All right. Can I give you guys one more story? And thank you to those who clicked the thumbs up. If you did, cool. I thank the ones who are donating because the people who are donating are freaking amazing. And I thank y'all so much. To those who are not donating, you can do something as simple as click that thumbs up. Can y'all do that for your boy, please? If y'all are here tonight, we have 750 people here. I know that number goes up and down. But if y'all would, please click that thumbs up. We've been trying to reach our goal of 600 thumbs up all night. I love my ladies. I love my fellas in the chat. I love you all. AFC and those who are not AFC. I love you all. Do me a favor and please click that thumbs up. It will help share this stream and let more people know that we're live. I gave my niece a year subscription for background checks for her high school graduation. Shout out to Sheila Johnson. Thank you for sharing that. Beautiful message. There's another testimony right there in the chat. I love it. Thank you for sharing that. You know we're a community here, guys. If y'all have positive stories, maybe something that y'all feel like y'all have learned from our channel, please let people know. Let them know. Let them know. Give me a second here. Marquita, I will give you my link. Give me here. I said, give me here. Give me just a second. Let me pull it up real quick. Beautiful message. I got you. If you ask for my donation link, I will absolutely put it in there for you. Let me tag your name. Marquita J. There you go, sweetie. Thank you for asking. And if anybody else wants to utilize those links, it's better to click those links as opposed to trying to type it in, because it might send you to a different account that I can't actually see, that I might not have access to. But that'll definitely get through to me right there. And don't worry about it, Patty Pierce. You're good, sweetheart. Patty, you are already a channel member. Don't worry about it. You are good, good, good. I promise you. If you have a channel membership, you're already doing a lot. So thank you. Don't worry about that, sweetheart. Don't ever feel bad either. Our point is to try to spread this message and educate and do it as a community together. Okay? No, I love you, Patty Pierce. Don't feel bad at all, sweetheart. We do this together. We do this together. I think I kind of want to give y'all a fourth story, but let me see how this one goes first. Mom's boyfriend. Mom's boyfriend. Are y'all ready for this? We're at 602. Good. We reached our goal. Thank y'all for helping us reach our thumbs up goal of 600. Let's get it. Let's get it. Real quick, Leave It to Bieber. Leave It to Bieber. Where are you at? Where's Leave It to Bieber? Are you in the chat? My friend, she is a content creator. If y'all don't know about Leave It to Bieber, y'all need to check her out when she goes live. Where's my friend at? Where is she at? I hope she hadn't left yet. You are a legend. We need you in this sick world, Jay. Thank you from England. Thank you, Happy Emma. I appreciate that. Let me say thank you to Leave It to Bieber. She is one of our content creators, and she's a channel member, and she donated. She said, showing support. Man, thank you so much. Y'all make sure and go subscribe to her channel, Leave It to Bieber. And if you have your link, Leave It to Bieber, if you're out there, sweetheart, you could always post your link in the channel. Make sure and tell the people to come follow you on your channel. Let me say thank you again to Ginger, Tara, I think it's Charlita, Tanea, Takir, Trina, Laura, Jimmy D, Priscilla, Dominique. I think that's everybody, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, let's talk about this. You know what? I don't think do I have news videos of this? I think I do. Let me see. Hold on. Let me see. Oh, I don't. I don't actually. Ladies and gentlemen, this story is slightly different. It's going to be a little bit short. We don't actually have any news videos, and I'm going to tell you guys, it's really sad, not only for what happened to this child. It's senseless what happened to this child. It's very selfish what happened to this beautiful baby right here. I think it's even more odd the fact that we have a million news stations, places where people can talk about these stories, and this didn't end up in one news video. Let me explain this story, if you don't mind. Another story out of New York City. Police have arrested a New York City man after he killed his girlfriend's baby boy. Y'all are not going to believe the idiotic reason that he gave. Do y'all know why he hurt this baby and murdered this baby? Because the baby got on his nerves. He said the baby was irking him. I'm going to say some things about this story, about this man, and probably about the mother that is not going to sit well with a lot of you guys' sensibilities. So if you cannot handle the details of this, I get it, I understand, and this might not be the channel for you. But that is your disclaimer. But I need to say what I need to say. Keyshawn Gordon, Keyshawn is spelled Keishawn, probably because his mama was trying to give him a unique name. Keyshawn Gordon, 23 years old, is being charged with murder after he admitted to mushing his girlfriend's baby, oh goodness, and sexually assaulting him because he would not stop crying. What? How does that even make any sense? He mushed the... Guys, you can't make this shit up. I'm sorry that I need to steal that from Tommy. But you can't make this shit up. He mushed the baby and sexually assaulted the baby? You sexually assault a baby because they won't stop crying. That's what he did. Y'all look at that smug, stupid ass look on his face. That boy looks slow as hell. He will probably lose a race to a turtle. The boy looks slow. How did the mother allow this man to get around the kid? And you would also have to ask, I'm going to assume that the mom wasn't there. Have to assume that. Why would you leave your child alone with somebody who's not a babysitter? Why would he get to meet your child? I can't even do this. According to a report from the New York Times, officers with the New York City Police Department responded to a 911 call about an unresponsive baby at the Webster house located at 420 East 169th Street in the Bronx at approximately 3 p.m. last Thursday. So New York and the Bronx, Bayou takes another L. again in this week. First responders reportedly found the 1-year-old, this child is 1 year old. He's not the biological father. How are you not even in a relationship with the biological father that quickly? You just gave birth less than 12 months ago. Jeez, do we not see a pattern of how irresponsible we're procreating? You give birth and in less than 12 months, you're already with a new fool that you didn't do a background check on. 1-year-old Legacy Buford found him unconscious in a bedroom inside the home. Responders attempted to bring the baby back to life, but were unsuccessful. He was rushed to a nearby Bronx Care health system where he was pronounced dead. The apartment was apparently shared by Legacy's mother by the name of Jessica Melendez. They gave her name, didn't see any pictures of her, but Jessica Melendez is the mother, and Gordon, her boyfriend. Just allow anybody to be around your damn kids. According to the police, Gordon was babysitting the child overnight. He was babysitting the child overnight. Y'all should know me. Y'all watched me long enough. What am I getting ready to ask? Where the fuck was the mother in the middle of the night? I've been walking in the middle of the night. Overnight, with a man who is not the biological father, with a unstable creature who's looking at this baby, who has the face of his biological father, and that man looks that baby in the face and realizes this ain't my kid, and he don't give a shit about this kid. Gordon did not instantly reveal what took place, but eventually admitted to investigators that he punched the crying baby and also sexually assaulted him. That's not losing your cool. What would make you want to sexually assault a baby, you damn pedophile? You pedo. Punching the child deserves the death penalty itself. What would make you go to extra stupid mile? I'm trying not to use that R word. That R-E-T-A-R-D-E-D word. I'm trying not to use that word. But what would make you in your mind think to sexually assault a child because it won't stop crying? What? You're not going to stop crying, so I'm going to sexually assault you. Huh. It's about to get worse, y'all. He said, I was frustrated he wouldn't stop crying. He kept throwing up. I mushed him. He was irking me. A New York City medical examiner told police that Legacy's cause of death was a lacerated liver that caused the baby to internally bleed to death. Legacy, who was born in August of 2020, my birth month, also had bruises covering his body and face, as well as multiple broken ribs. Gordon was taken into custody on Friday on several charges, including murder and manslaughter. Several outlets also reported that Gordon had been charged with aggravated sexual abuse and sexual abuse. The news reported that Gordon had been oh my goodness. This just can't be real. I want y'all to take a bookmark note of this. When I keep begging y'all to get background checks, this is where we're going to just say, you know what? They're not getting background checks. So if these boyfriends do something bad to these kids, then we are going to start advocating that y'all just need to be arrested as mothers and do just as much time in prison as these boyfriends do, since you keep taking your kids to the freaking thug zoo and you don't give a shit about your kids. Listen at this. Mom's boyfriend, Gordon, had been previously arrested 18 times. Not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, not 6, not 7, not 8, not 9, not 10. 18 times, and you didn't bother to care about your kid to find 18 times? 7 of which were for felonies. This is ridiculous. He was arrested previously 18 times, 7 of which were felonies, including being charged with criminal obstruction of breathing in 2018 after allegedly putting his hands around a woman's neck and then slamming her to the floor, according to sources. That victim says she did not lose consciousness. Wonderful. But he gets to be a babysitter. Why? Because the mother only cared about her own personal sexual pleasures. She's selfish, and the mother needs prison time as well. I don't know how you even get to be in society with 7 felonies, let alone being arrested 18 times. I don't get it. They're always the ones who get to be underneath these women and living in their houses and don't have to bring nothing to the table. It's funny how people want to claim that all they care about is getting them a high value man, right? Like that means anything. Especially when you look at their dating choices and they're constantly dating ain't shit niggas. Of any race, of any creed, of any nationality. Thug is not a color, it is an action. And this man was arrested 18 times, 7 of them were felonies. But he gets to be a babysitter. He gets to be around this baby. Where's the biological father in less than 12 months? Why are we not requiring marriage before we have children, ladies? Not all, but too many of them. It leads to abuse and it leads to death. And when you date thugs, you date death. Stupid is as stupid thugs. But it seemed like hood hoes love hood dick, and it seemed like that's what the mother's case was in this situation. I think the mother needs to be investigated and arrested as well. You can't be that level of dumb. You can't be that level of irresponsible. Dick is not that important. Almost forgot. But they want to get paid though. Can we get a hashtag babies for benefits in the chat if y'all don't freaking mind? Because I almost forgot. Ooh, that they put up a GoFundMe. Well, how about that? Catch me outside. How about that? They put up a GoFundMe Look at this. $30,000. For what? Somebody please tell me why. Can y'all see this number over here? $30,000. Let me guess. Hospital bills. I want to give him the best funeral ever known to man. My baby deserves to go out the right way. But apparently your baby didn't deserve to have his biological father in his life. Apparently your baby didn't deserve to have life insurance. Apparently your baby didn't deserve a background check on a man that you decided to leave your baby with overnight. That's irresponsible. With a felon on top of that. Do y'all hear me, ladies? Let me say how it really is. She left her baby with a felon overnight. Think about how that sounds and tell me that the mother doesn't deserve criminal charges. You left your child with a multiple time felon overnight. Now my baby's dead. He don't care, and he's never going to care, and he never needs to be in our society, on our planet, ever again. If there were an experimental rocket ship we could launch his ass into outer space with, I think it would totally be appropriate here. To that beautiful baby boy who never stood a chance. We never are going to know what he wanted to grow up and become when he gets older. Young Legacy, Buford, 1 year old, young Prince, R.I.P. Thank y'all for listening to Legacy's story with an open mind and an open heart. And I hope that this story will change somebody and make them do better by their children. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, we can do one or two things right now. We can either wrap up right now, because I know some of y'all got to go to work. A lot of y'all got to go to bed. Or I could give y'all one more story. What do we want to do? Do we want to call it a night, or do y'all want to hear one more story? We have 755 people. We have 639 thumbs up. If y'all will keep clicking that thumbs up, it should bring us closer to the people that are watching. So about 700 people. So we only need 61 more people to click that thumbs up. It's a beautiful baby. $30,000. I would love for somebody to come in my comment section and try to explain a $30,000 GoFundMe for a kid that they didn't care about. You couldn't spend $30 for a background check, but you're asking for the public to give you $30,000 for a funeral. That's stupid. Y'all know I appreciate you. Y'all have a blessed night. I love you all, okay? I'll see y'all on the next stream. And if you need anything, just holler at me. All right? Peace.
Nora's Authentic Designer has some of the most glamorous and stylish handbags your girl has ever seen. So ladies, if you want to get fly, and fellas, if you want to take care of your lady, please be sure to go to www.noras915.com. www.noras915.com. That's right, www.noras915.com.
Hello listeners, come mask up with Keyline Designs, where you reap what we sow.
We offer essential handcrafted face masks made with 100% cotton, equipped with a built-in filter and a slot for refillable filters. Our masks have many uses like riding motorcycles, ATVs, while out in public places, outside exercising, lawn and gardening, and helps prevent the spread of germs. We offer bling, sports logos, monograms, many assorted fabrics and colors. We make child-sized masks starting at the age of 2. Come join us today for the launch of our new website at keylinedesigns.com. Please be sure to like and follow our page on Facebook. Our links can be found in the description box of this video. Thank you.
Check out this wonderful organization that I'm proud to be a part of. It's called Bags for Kids, BAGS4KIDS.org. And check out their website. They really help a lot of kids in foster care, giving them a permanent piece of luggage and also a lot of items that they might need so that they feel that they belong, which they do. So go to the website, bags4kids.org. So go for it. It's a great place and they're doing great work.
Exclusive new products that you will only see on my website at www.sayitwithchess.com. These products are made special by my mother, Keyline Designs. The hoodie blankie, the face mask, as well as the 4-in-1 African head wrap. Now the way it works, it is a reversible bonnet. It has a headband that you can wear alone. It has a matching face mask as well. Please be sure to go over to our website and check out these nice new products that you will not find anywhere else.
I'm excited. The Pardon and Parole Board has voted to commute my boy, Julius Jones. He's coming home. Let's go. I'm excited. The Pardon and Parole Board has voted to commute my boy, Julius Jones. He's coming home. Let's